Hey guys, it's Krystal Lee Moore-Lucier here, also known as your Home Sweet Home 519 Realtor, Krystal Lee Moore. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm happy you're here. Today we're going to talk about how to avoid the achievement blues. So what do I mean by that? The achievement blues, that sounds so weird. Well, if you're listening, I would hazard a guess that you are probably someone who loves achieving goals, who's driven, motivated, you love learning. That's kind of the type of person that would listen to a podcast or read a book, really just trying to better yourself day to day. So when we talk about the achievement blues, I remember hearing about, let's say 10 years ago, and I heard from Brian Buffini with Buffini and Company, and he was talking about this goal he had to pay off his mortgage. So he had this plan and he was driven, and he was telling us that the day he brought in that last check, he was pumped. It was the last mortgage check. He was going to close out the mortgage. Isn't that great? He handed the check to the bank teller, and the teller was like, "Great, thanks for your business." And it was the most disappointing moment, because you build up this excitement and this momentum and you're going to achieve something. But very, very rarely do we talk about what happens when you achieve it. So there needs to be, especially if you're just in this pattern of achievement, you need to take time to celebrate, because if you don't, it just becomes something else that you were going for. And then there's this void, this gap. And a lot of women will actually have this feeling when they're planning their wedding. So especially in North America, wedding culture is huge, and planning your own wedding can become like a second job. And you become ultimately like a party planner and an event manager, all of these things. And then a lot of people, like, you'll get married and then something's missing. What is missing? An entire piece of your life that has been there for a year or 8 months or however long you were planning. So we have to acknowledge the fact that when you achieve something, number one, it's now you've achieved it. It's done. It's gone. But now the pursuit of that achievement is also gone. And so there's going to be almost a feeling of loss, which is very strange, because you've been prepping yourself for however long you've been chasing after a goal, that this is the goal you want, and once you get it, everything will change, everything will be amazing. And that's just not the way it is. Yes, achievement is a big deal. You don't want to go giving up on your dreams, but you also need to prep yourself for what that will feel like, and be ready to celebrate, to take a beat, and then to add in the next level of achievement that you'd like to get. So we're going to talk about 5 things today: goals and momentum, progress, your why, celebration, and reframing and leveling up. So when we're going with goals, and we've talked about this before, but goals are things that you want to achieve. So whether it is, maybe it's a level at work, maybe it's a physical item, maybe it's a house, a car, a vacation, maybe it's health goals. You want to be healthier, you want to fit into some jeans, you'd like to live long enough to see your great-grandkids play at the park. Whatever your goals are, they're going to be very unique to you. We like to break them down into 5 goals, and that's with Buffini and Company, the 5 circle goals, which are business, personal, financial, spiritual, and family. And it's important, I find those goals, the goal categories, really great, because sometimes you'll sit down to write goals and all of a sudden you have this ridiculous writer's block. You're like, I don't know what I want. And so having those goals in the category really, really helps, because then you can just start to just jot things down. We also want to be careful that a goal, like the SMART goals, so specific, measurable, actionable, timely, and realistic. So when we have a goal, so get healthy is an overarching goal, but it's pretty hard to what is that? Like, what does get healthy mean to you? And so we want to be specific in the goal. and also measurable. So you want to kind of figure out where you're starting, where you're getting to. The action. So what are you going to, like, what needs to happen for you to get there? Timely. So there needs to be a time frame. And then realistic. So if you are like 150 pounds and you want to be 120 pounds, and that's a healthy number for you, it's probably not happening in a week. And if it is, it's because you're maybe losing a limb. So it has to be realistic, because otherwise you're just going to kind of set yourself up to fail. But let's say in a week, you could lose a pound, you could lose 2 pounds. Like, those are healthy numbers. And so the thing is, when you're going into your goals, we like to do, Buffini does 10-day goals. I recently changed them to 7-day goals, because I find Mondays are a really good day to regroup and kind of set up the week. And if 10-day goals, sometimes they end on a Wednesday, on a Thursday, like, it was feeling really inconsistent for me. So I changed it to 7-day goals. But then you can also have 1-month goals. You can also have 1-year goals, 5-year goals, 10-year goals. And it really depends on when you want to do this. I like to do mine once a year. I reframe everything. But you can also do them. I have a colleague, him and his team get together and they do it every 30 days. So it depends on how committed you want to be. And if you have like an accountability partner, I definitely recommend a coach, but reach out to a colleague, reach out to me, and I'll connect you with someone. It comes down to picking what you want to do and then figuring out how to motivate yourself to do it. And the best way to motivate yourself is to make sure that someone else is counting on you too. So those are the goals. Now, if you need, you can look up just goal sheets. There's a really cool one that I found where you pick 12 goals. So I divided them into 4 categories instead of 5, but 12 goals. And then you just do a little check mark every single day for 31 days. Very cool. If you would like a copy, just reach out to me. So those are the goals. And let's say today you decide to write 1 goal per category. So let's say for health, you're going to drink 8 glasses of water a day for the next week. And maybe for financial, you're going to only buy things that you have planned to purchase this week. So no impulse shopping. And for spiritual, maybe you'll donate to your church or you'll meditate. For family, maybe you'll reach out to a family member and have a conversation, just a nice, like, being present conversation. And then maybe for business, you will reach out to 5 new clients, or you will finish something that you've been putting off. So those are just examples, but you can, anything you pick something that when you finish it, you can check it off. So that goes into momentum. So with momentum, that you're building upon little achievements. So if you can go to, let's say we talked about like drinking the 8 glasses of water. Let's say you do a week of drinking 8 glasses of water a day and you're feeling pretty good. So then you can add something else. Maybe now you're going to go for a 15 or 20 minute walk every day, or you're going to go to the gym 3 times. As long as you can track it and you can measure it and you can check it off, it counts. And you'll start to feel this rise in energy and confidence, endorphins. It's fantastic. And that momentum can really just build into anything you want. It's like it takes a lot of snowflakes, but then all of a sudden you have an avalanche. So don't quote me on that. There's a much more eloquent way to say that. I think it is no single snowflake thinks it's responsible for the avalanche. It's a cool thought though, like little things add up, and bad things can add up, but good things can add up too. So then we go into progress. So it's the reason it's important when we're going with that starting point to track where you started is that it's hard for us sometimes to really look at our progress. And if you think about it, whether it is weight, whether it's finances, whether it's business, whether it's anything, we can get lost in the day-to-day and we'll forget maybe how far we've come, or we'll think we're doing better than we are. So a lot of the times, the human condition is that we'll like underestimate bad stuff and we'll overestimate good stuff. But it's nice to have a realistic picture so that you can actually measure yourself against reality. Then we go into your why. So this is an interesting one. As a woman, I recently, in the last year, got very frustrated and fed up with diet and exercise culture. I've been an avid health and fitness enthusiast, we'll say, to understate it, but for many years. In the last year, I got very frustrated because my why shifted. Basically, it was like, what am I doing this for? Our bodies change and we need to change with them. So I had to shift my why from I want to be this weight or I want to fit into these pants to I want to feel better. I want higher energy. I want my skin to glow again. And shifting the why is important. So same thing with clients. Like, you need a why that goes beyond a paycheck if you are an entrepreneur, because there are days that you are going to work and for nothing, for less than nothing. Because as we know, real estate is an expensive profession, more so if you're not selling. But you need something that's going to bring you in, because there's also going to be days when you come in and you don't do that much, but you get like 3 commission checks. And those days are great. They're fantastic. But what's going to bring you in for that consistency? Because the only way you're getting the commission checks at the end of the day is if you can consistently do work and work towards lead generation and building your skills and taking care of your clients. And all of that needs you to be consistent and needs you to build all the time, even when you're not making money that day. So what is your why? I know for me, my why is serving the people around me. So serving my community, serving my clients, serving my family, serving my church. Just for me, service, being a servant leader is everything to me. But maybe for you, it's really helping someone along. Maybe it is building something for your family. Maybe you absolutely love houses. I know a lot of people, when they get into real estate, they love people, they love houses. But whatever it is, just lock into that why, because you need something that's getting you out of bed, into the office or at your desk, doing the work, making the calls, following up, doing all of that. And motivation is very, very important. Zig Ziglar says motivation doesn't last. It's like bathing. That's why you have to do it every day. And then celebrate. I know we talked at the beginning about Brian and his mortgage, but you need to take time to celebrate in whatever that means to you. So I recently, last week, finally finished my MBA. So excited. I had the opportunity to take my MBA through the University of Fredericton, and I began in the winter of 2021. Very cool experience. It was part-time and online, and I absolutely loved it, but it was hard work. And I will tell you, the last few months have been really hard, like knowing that it's coming to an end, but the final course is really, really intense. So knowing that it was finally done, I was just like, oh, yes. But then it was like, okay, now what? So I actually made myself take 2 half days off. We'll celebrate like in another way, another time. But I decided to take 2 half days off and just let myself relax. And it felt very surreal, very uncomfortable. But also it locks into your brain like, hey, you did something. It's important. Good for you. And it's important that we do that, because that's what's going to keep you going. Otherwise, you'll burn out, or you'll just lose your passion. And losing your passion or burning out as an entrepreneur or a realtor is poison. And then the very last thing is to reframe and level up. So when we talked about getting together with your colleagues, or even on your own, once a year, once a quarter, once a month, whatever you want, and then you look at what you've achieved, you cross it off the list, but then it's time to dream bigger. So, and change it up. Because I think, so Bob Proctor is a really cool cool mentor of mine, and it's very sad that he's passed away, but his whole philosophy is that if you have a goal that you've already achieved, it's not really a goal. It's something you've already done. And just like Brian says, I did it before, I can do it again. And if they can do it, I can do it. So if you did it before, you can do it again. It's maybe not going to be the most inspiring goal, but it's still important to know you can do it. So let's say it's something like you want to get to an award level, or you want to travel and see a part of the world. You want to see something overseas, like Portugal or Spain or Italy. We had a really cool networking event last night called Little Engines Live with Kevin Bulmer. Very cool. If you have not been out, you should definitely come out once a month on a Monday. But we talked about bucket list items, and it was interesting because we all broke into groups. In our group, a lot of the people, their bucket list items were things that they wanted to try, or places they wanted to go, or experiences they wanted to have. So things, and the bucket list, as many of us know, that's kind of like, what are you going to do before you kick the bucket? It's actually a pretty morbid topic. But it's kind of like that question, if you found out you had a month to live, what would you continue to do and what would you stop doing? So I think a lot of us would stop doing nonsense things like complaining or whining or wasting time on social media. And the goal is kind of to focus your life on the things that will make it more meaningful and more impactful. So what will that be like? A few people mentioned skydiving. I will tell you personally, skydiving is not on my list because what would I regret more? And if I did it and I broke my legs, would I be like, oh, well, at least I got to do it? And the answer for me is no. I would not say, oh, at least I got to do it. I'd feel pretty silly. But maybe when I'm 103, I'll strap on a backpack and we'll see. But then some people were talking about they wanted to be able to watch their grandchildren graduate from high school. That's cool. I know for me, I want to perform guitar in front of people. And for whatever reason, I absolutely love doing it. And I just can't bring myself to get in front of people. So my goal is to just stop being a baby and do it. But whatever it is, so that's for bucket list. But when we're talking about our businesses, what kind of goals do you have? Because you have to keep it fresh. You have to keep it exciting. Day in, day out, we do the same things, but we change, we grow. And as Tony Robbins says, if you're not growing, you're dying. So constantly be looking for ways that you can improve or that you can add to what you're offering to clients, or maybe you're increasing your education. Maybe you're taking time to read a cool book. I'm currently reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Thank you to my colleague Mina for suggesting it. It's really good, actually. But at the end of the day, it's just what is going to make your life even better next month than it is today? And can you put that into a goal list? Can you actually itemize what that will look like? So just to recap, so we want to avoid the achievement blues, and we want to be clear about our goals, focus on momentum and progress. What is your why? We want to take time to celebrate when we do achieve things, and then reframe and level up your goals on a consistent basis. So whether that's every 7 days, once a month, once a year, whatever is going to motivate you. Having a vision board is great too. And what we do once a year is we will just write out the goals, and then I go on a Google extravaganza. Because gone are the days where you have to cut out of a magazine. You can actually just Google any image that you want. It comes to your mind, you Google it, there it is. We're in a very cool age. And then I put them all into a Word document, and I just wrap the text so that they can just go on top of each other if they need to. And I create a very cool vision board, and it becomes the backdrop of my computer. It's on my notebook, it's on my desk. And just having those goals there day in and day out really makes a difference. So eventually I'm going to have a vision board workshop, so stay tuned. But I hope everyone has an amazing, amazing day. And I'm going to be creating a course. That's actually another thing I decided yesterday, a course for real estate professionals and entrepreneurs. And I'm pretty pumped about it, so stay tuned on details for that. My name is Krystal Lee Moore-Lucier, also known as your Home Sweet Home 519 Realtor, Krystal Lee Moore. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.